how effective the Democrats have been and the media has been in moving the Overton window. We have a fair amount of new viewers, by the way. Our numbers are going up dramatically, praise God. So let's remind each other, what is the Overton window? If you know it, it's good refresher. If not, it's very important. The Overton window is a way of thinking, or it's an approach to identifying the ideas that define the spectrum of acceptability of how the government acts. For example, it says politicians can only act within an acceptable range. Shifting the Overton window involves proponents of policies outside the window persuading the public to expand the window. A great example of this is defund the police. So the spectrum goes from unthinkable all the way to public policy. And it can go back and forth, it can move, but it's a reflection of the sentiment of the people. Now, this was originally the author of the Overton window was mostly focused on how laws go from ideas into action. This is actually founded by an American policy analyst by the name of Joseph Overton. If we can get a picture, let's put it on there. Let's put the Overton window picture. I think it's very helpful. It's a great way to say, oh, wow, that was once unthinkable, and now it's everywhere. So the Overton window goes through these steps. Something is unthinkable, then it's deemed radical, then it's deemed acceptable, then it's deemed sensible, then it's deemed popular, then it's deemed policy. Let me give you 3 quick examples. Marijuana legalization. It was unthinkable when I was a kid, and now it's policy. Chemically castrating kids. Ironically, it's still unthinkable in certain circles, but it is policy. We're cutting kids' parts off at record rates. Keeping our borders wide open. It was radical, now it's policy. Gay marriage is probably the best example of this. But look at how they were able to move through the Overton window just in the last 12 months. When they raided Mar-a-Lago, that was an unthinkable act. A former president being raided by the government that he once directed. It was met with outrage. Over the top. We live in a third world country. How could this possibly happen? But then the media did their job and they kept on making you feel as if it's normal. It's perfectly fine. Donald Trump is a felon. And so like that, we started to move on the spectrum of what was considered to be a year ago, 1 calendar year ago, everybody. Mar-a-Lago was not yet raided. Donald Trump was under 0 indictments. 0. 1 year ago, Donald Trump did not have any indictments and Mar-a-Lago was not raided. And in the course of 1 year, not only have they acted in a way, but they acted, and whoever is designing this, I have a lot of respect for. They're evil. They're clever as can be. But I have infinite respect. Because not only are they doing this in a way to interfere in the 2024 election, but the methodical marching of which they are progressing shows me a deep understanding of how the Overton window works. This is not amateur hour. Whoever is conducting the orchestra, a theme that we repeat here, Valerie Jarrett, Barack Hussein, the Soros, Laureen Powell Jobs, Mark Elias, we may never know who Oz is. Whoever it is, this is not just throwing stuff up the wall and hope it hits. No, this is well planned. This is concocted. This is somebody who has been around for multiple decades and knows how to move the window. So you think about it, 12 months ago, Donald Trump faced no indictments. They raided Mar-a-Lago. It was the shot heard across the world. How dare you go raid a president's home? Then we kind of got over it. Oh, I guess it's fine. Because Biden had documents too. They lulled you to sleep. But whoever is doing the conducting needed somebody to cross the Rubicon first. Remember, in January, February, March, when there were whispers that Donald Trump might be facing criminal charges in New York, our talking point was this had never happened before. This has never happened before. A former president has never been indicted. A former president has never been indicted. A former president has never been Alvin Bragg. The weakest of all the cases, kind of the silliest of all the cases, Stormy Daniels campaign finance, that case is probably going to fall apart. Of all the ones that Donald Trump has a likelihood of getting tossed out by a judge, it's the New York case. But the intent of the New York case was not about putting Donald Trump in prison. It was about criminalizing Donald Trump. It was to move the Overton window where you weren't experiencing a sense, an aura of shock and awe when Donald Trump gets booked by the federal government. The inside-out collusion between federal, state, and local agencies is unprecedented, the harmony of which Alvin Bragg and Fani Willis and the head of the Michigan Attorney General, Dana Nessel, I believe the name is, and Jack Smith and Merrick Garland are working. There is a central nervous system. I don't know where it is. Is it in Martha's Vineyard? Is it in Sun Valley? Is it in Aspen? Somebody is calling the shots here. This is not, we hate Trump, let's just see what it is. No. Somebody is planning this, and we are marching right into it. It reminds me of the allegory of the cave. Can we get that picture? The famous allegory of the cave, where actually we get the word in Latin education from the allegory of the cave, Socrates, Plato's allegory of the cave, where you're looking at a simulation and you have to say, wait a second, there's light behind us and we've been looking at shadows. Can we just break free and realize we are playing in a simulation here where there is an output? I'm going to show it to you because now the whole plan has been revealed. That's the allegory of the cave. Easier to see than it is described. If you're on radio or podcasting, I encourage you guys just to Google Socrates, allegory of the cave, where it shows that you are seeing nothing more but the projection of a light behind you, of shadows on a screen that somebody else is manipulating and puppeteering for their purpose, and you're falling right into it. The purpose of this show today on Friday, July 21st, is to just say, time out, press pause, 35,000-foot view. What simulation are we living through right now? Because in 12 months ago, we were getting angry and mad at the prospect of Donald Trump and his home getting raided. And now we're kind of just shrugging our shoulders and we say, well, I guess he's going to be under 4 different venue indictments. You got documents in Florida, you got Fani Willis, you got Stormy Daniels in New York, you got January 6th, you got insurrection, seditious conspiracy, alternate electors. Whoa! This did not happen, everybody, out of nowhere. Ex nihilo. It did not come out of nothing. No, this is worth some examination. And this is worth some real dialogue. Not only who is planning it, that's not interesting to me. We know that it's being planned. But then what is the plan? What is the timeline? And then the most important thing, how do you launch a sabotage campaign of that plan? And boy, the designer, the architect, the author of what we are living through, they are not dumb. This is a world-class product in how to thwart a popular former president from getting back into the White House. We'll talk more in just a second on that. Patreon